Hi guys, Steve here. Today I'll be discussing dry firing practice. How important is dry firing practice to keeping up your firearm skills? Stick around and find out. Dry fire practice is important if you want to maintain your firearm skills, such as your grip control, your trigger control, finger control, and your sight alignment. It's also a lot less expensive than spending money at the range every single weekend. You go out to the range or more often if you choose to desire. I don't know about you, but I don't have a ton of cash to spend, and I can easily spend $100 at the range at one visit. So dry firing is not only cost effective, it also helps you maintain your skill set even when you can't make it to the range. Now, there is an initial investment when you start to dry fire, such as what equipment you're going to use to dry fire, what software, what programs they have out there, if you need cameras or if you don't need cameras. There's a plethora of dry fire companies out there. Now, I choose LASRapp myself personally. I've tried other ones and they're good, they're fine, I have no problem with them, but my choice is LASRapp, and I will be showing you or demonstrating this program to you, and I'm not going to be going into a tutorial on how to run the program. LASRapp at their website has plenty of tutorials, both on their site plus on YouTube itself, but I'm going to show you how I utilize it for my own dry fire practice. Now, you do have a choice between what weapons you can use for dry fire. You can use your own personal weapon, in this case my Smith & Wesson M&P 45. This does require a laser bullet right here, which basically fits right into the chamber, or right into the barrel, that is, of your firearm. It just slides right in, and what happens is when the striker, in this case striker, hits the back of the laser, as you can see, there is a laser that comes out, a light that comes out, and it hits the target. That's one option. Your second option is to use a specially made laser pistol for target practice. In this case, I have a SIRT target practice pistol here. It's a laser pistol. It has two lasers in the front, one in the top, one in the bottom. The bottom just basically is for when you've hit your target, when you focus onto the target. The second laser that fires, and you can turn the bottom laser off. The second top laser actually is when you pull the trigger, the laser comes out, the light shines and hits the target, activates the software, and the software records your hit. Now, there are advantages to both of these. So let's go ahead and start with your personal firearm here. With your personal firearm and the laser bullet inserted, each time you have to fire, you have to rack the chamber and pull the trigger. To get the second shot, rack the slide again, pull the trigger. So each time you want to fire, you have to rack the slide. Now, they do make some inserts. I have not used them myself personally, and I don't have one here to show you, but they do make some magazines that will reset the trigger automatically, and I'm not really familiar with what brands they are made for. I know they are made for Glocks. I'm not sure if they make them for Smith & Wessons or not, but they do make those that will reset your trigger automatically. I've never used them, so I can't really tell you how effective they are. I know they're run about $100 to $120. And speaking of cost too, the laser bullet that I've just inserted in here come in different calibers. You can get 45, 380, 9mm, and they run also across the board between $80 and $100. So that's not too cheap either. But if you look at the initial cost, like I said, there are some initial costs to dry fire. If you look at the initial cost versus going to the range and spending $50 to $100 two times a month, the initial investment does pay off. It will pay off, and you can put that money towards either buying more ammo or whatever you want to put it to. But so the initial investment of the laser bullet, the software, camera, whatever you need, or even the laser pistol itself, I'll get into that in a second, it will pay off eventually. It'll be cost effective. But the main, like I said, the main disadvantage, getting back to the disadvantages and advantages, I got sidetracked here. The main disadvantage of using your personal firearm, unless you can get one of the magazines that will reset your trigger for you, is each time that you want to fire, you will have to rack your slide before each shot. So if you want to do multiple shots, and if you're using the software under par time or something like that, and you want to score so many shots, this may not be the best choice for you. However, on the positive side, the cons, or the pros that is, for using your own firearm is you're using a firearm that you will be using for self-defense, something you carry, your everyday carry. And so, therefore, you'll be more familiar with the feel of your trigger, the grip of your firearm itself. So you'll be, the familiarity for you and your firearm will be strengthened, and your memory muscle of how you hold the weapon, how you pull the trigger, that will be enforced. Now that's the pro side to that. Now let's go ahead and discuss the laser pistol itself, the target pistol. Now the laser pistol that I have chosen is SIRT. It's SIRT for Shot Indicator Reset Trigger. It's well known out there. It's very well made. They have two different models. This is the lower end model. I don't have the higher end model, which runs about $400 and something. This particular model is $260, somewhere in that range. It does come with weighted magazines. So during your dry fire practice, if you want to go ahead and swap magazines, if you get a second magazine, you can always drop your magazine, pull your other magazine out, reload, and you're ready to go. Okay? Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics to this weapon because this is a dry fire video, not necessarily a product review. But this particular model of SIRT, it kind of resembles the Smith & Wesson M&P 45. As you can see, basically the same length, same width and everything. Basically weighted the same as well, so it feels like you're holding your own firearm. Even the grip back here, the back strap is replaceable, and you can modify that as well. Now, the cons to using either your firearm or this one, there's a universal con here, is you don't get your experience of the recoil. So when you're dry firing, you don't get that kick, which is negligible. I mean, you can get that when you go out to the range at all. But the dry fire practice does, in both sides, helps you with your grip, your trigger pull, your sight alignment, and you can try your drawing from your concealment, clearing your concealed garment, and all that good stuff. Now, the main positive pro on using a laser pistol such as the SIRT pistol here is you can do multiple shots without having to rack a slide. This slide, in fact, won't rack at all. It's permanent. You can take it off. You can do that to replace the battery. That's, like I said, another video completely. But you can go ahead and do multiple shots with this particular pistol. And all you have to do is just keep pulling the trigger. And each time you pull the trigger, you got a light coming out, hitting the target. The software is registering your hits at that point. So that is the big pro side to using a laser target pistol. It's designed for dry fire practice. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you how I've set up my dining room for dry fire practice in my home. It's a very basic setup, nothing fancy. And I'll also show you a comparison of using the SIRT dry fire pistol here, as well as using my regular everyday carry firearm, the Smith & Wesson M&P 45 in my case. For my dry fire practice at home, I've set a target on my dining room wall about 21 feet away from where I'm standing now. It's where the tripod is, and this is where I shoot from as well. In the dining room, in front of the target, you'll see another tripod, and this has the webcam attached to it that is attached to my laptop, and this is how the laser software can record the results of my hits. So let me go ahead and show you how I dry fire here at home. And I'll touch a little bit upon the laser software itself, but as said before, I'm not going to delve into the training of the laser software. That could be best done at their website and on YouTube, looking up there's tutorials as well, because they've got some great tutorials out there. So let's go ahead and show you how I do my dry firing at home. What you're seeing here is a laser software, LASRapp software on my computer. I'm not going to go into details on how to set this LASRapp software up. LASRapp itself has many good tutorials, both not only on YouTube but on their website as well. So I suggest you check them out for any tutorials. They can go into a lot more detail than I can in this particular video. I'm just showing you how I use LASRapp in my own dry fire training practice. On the left side of your screen, you'll see my target that's on the wall. Now, you're not restricted to a paper target. You can use little cardboard cutouts. You don't even have to use a conventional target either. You can actually put your camera in such a position where you can pick up different items in the room, such as light sockets, light switches, lamps, vases, or anything like that, and mark those off as targets, and the LASRapp software will use those as your target points. And after all, this is dry fire training. All you're shooting is a laser beam, so you're not going to have to worry about any damage. Now, as you can see, my target here is taped to the wall, and I have particular targets locked into this main target. Anytime I shoot outside of any of these locked target areas, this small circle here and this larger circle, the hits will not score, the software will not pick up on it, and it will only score what's hits inside these targets here. And again, I'm going to be shooting these targets from a distance of 21 feet or 7 yards. And down here on the lower right, you can switch different modes, and these modes can be arranged to however you want to make them, configured to however you want to make them in the settings button up here in the upper right hand corner. But from down here in this mode section, once you have set up the different modes, you can go down here and switch to whatever mode you want to use. For this particular demonstration, I'm going to be using just the basic mode, and this particular mode does not have a timer on it. There's no par timer, there is no random start timer. It's just you start it and you shoot at will. So for this particular demonstration, as said, I'm going to use the basic timer, or the basic mode. Well, that pretty much sums it up, guys, and I've hoped I've provided you some information that might be useful to you when you're trying to decide how you want to do your dry fire practice. And if you have any comments or concerns, just leave them in the comment section below. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell to be reminded of future videos. And also, if you have a chance, just scoot over to the Patreon page, and if you want to support me in my efforts here, feel free to. Don't have to, but if you want to. And lastly, don't forget to support our men and women in law enforcement, our military, and first responders. And until next time, guys, be careful.